Okay, so we've got Chris Woodhead and John Pogson on the podcast here to talk about this specific car. I'm going to let you guys fire away. John, if you want to sort of introduce us to what this car is, what it means, and what it has to do with Chris.
Thanks for coming to a Pogcast, Mr. Woodhead. How long have I known you now?
40 years nearly. Yeah.
Crikey, you don't look that old. Let's talk about your F40,
Okay.
which I'm not so sure whether you own it or I own it, because I think I've done more with it than you have. Actually.
I think I own it. You drive it. I think that seems
That's
to be where it's at.
that's about right, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, why did you buy it?
Well, in 1987, when these things were first announced, I'd had a Testarossa and 328 and stuff, but these things were announced in 1987. And when I saw pictures of it, I thought, I've got to have one of that. I've got to have that. I've got to have one of those. How on earth am I going to get one? And eventually, I managed to secure one. It was built in winter '89 and it imported into the UK, personal import, in 1990.
Yeah.
And I've had it ever since.
Yeah.
35 years.
Yeah. I brought one in myself, personal import. Remember being in the customs at Calais or Dover. It was Dover, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
While I think the importers contracted a specialised lawyer, and he met us there to do all the paperwork. So similar thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to pay the tax.
Which was actually on its second-hand value, wasn't it?
Yes, because there was
and that was the government taking the mickey again.
Yeah, there was a big legal case because Nigel Mansell had either been given one or got one at hugely discounted price, and he sold it for something like £750,000 or something.
That's right.
And so the Customs Excise got all excited and said, "Oh, that must be the value of it.
Yeah.
So if you import one, then we'll charge."
That's right. That's what happened. But I believe that the customers got that job sorted out and money back, didn't they?
And it was imported at ex-factory price.
I remember bringing mine back in the middle of the night, and the guy it was a racing driver I was with, and he was like racing drivers are. You know what racing drivers are like.
I do, yeah.
The sods there, honestly. And so we're coming up France and 2-lane motorways, and there's a truck doing 40, 50 mile an hour, and he pretend to come up behind it and ram straight through it at a little bit over 70, and at the last moment use it as a chicane. And when it was my turn, I pretended to be asleep. I fall asleep, at the wheel. And we'll just find out how brave he's going to be. I had a lot of fun bringing one back.
Yeah, it was great.
So when so I was working for the main deal at the time, wasn't I? I remember at the time, and
you were,
and you followed me, didn't you? When I started my own company, you came and became a customer. With my business, didn't we?
Yes.
So in 1995, I was racing a 328.
Yes.
And it was basically, I was just a mechanic, and the owner of that car suggested that I might do an odd race in his car. And I went to Span and won a lot of things, didn't I?
You did.
And then in the end, I won the championship that year overall. So I can't remember. Must have been, do you do drugs?
No.
Okay, well, somebody must have done, because you said that, do you fancy racing my F40?
Well, I can remember.
You must have been smoking something.
No, I was completely sober.
Were you?
Yes, and I don't drink either.
Oh.
But I can remember being...
Do you... oh, no, that's another question for another time, isn't it?
I can remember being in your office, the old one at Carlisle Street.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, I think about 3 or 4 people there. It was quite a small office. And you were saying, hey, I've just seen that in the Maranello Ferrari Championship, we can race F40s on slicks, which was a big change. And I think I sort of said, well, why don't you race this then?
I wasn't hinting,
No, I know.
I just made a comment.
But I can remember that vividly. And
So did I answer you straight away? Or was it? Did
well, I think within half a nanosecond, I think you said yes.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
I remember doing Sheffield Motor Show with it,
Right.
and to launch, we
Yep.
officially
Yeah.
launched it.
Yeah.
And I have a photograph somewhere.
Yeah.
I was looking rather young.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal, wasn't it?
Well, you'd organised Italia's strip
Yeah.
and jackets and
Yeah.
stuff. So
we're committed now.
we were.
Yeah.
We were.
It was. Do you realise that the whole F40 episode going racing was a bigger deal today than it was at the time? It seems to be, doesn't it? I think we took it for granted.
We did take it for granted. I mean, in those days, they weren't as valuable as they are now. And yeah, we just took it for granted. And we just wanted fun.
I think we're just our time of life. I think we're just super laid back or something. I don't know what. But when I think now, I mean, I can remember many times in your motor car. But I mean, you remember? Well, you were actually there at Spa when I qualified it, standard car on wet racing tyres in torrential downpour.
No, I wasn't. I was at home.
You were.
And I can't remember why, but I wasn't there. But I was at home.
The only way I could see where I was going in the spray was to look sideways at the scenery. In somebody's Ferrari F40.
Well,
I qualified at 6 on the grid.
Yeah, you did, and I must have had great faith in you.
I know. You must have been smoking something.
But I wasn't.
Okay. So do you know when? Do you remember saying to me every time I raced your car, and you correct me, but that year, didn't it win? Didn't it score 144 points out of a possible 146? Is that about right?
Something like that, yes.
So we nearly pulled a bloody 10 out of 10 out there, didn't we? You know, and so I did a lot of winning in it, and
a lot.
And I remember the first race. Crikey, we put it on pole position at Donington. And I was sat on pole position, the 30-old motor cars, and banged it into first gear. The lights changed, and I was gone.
Yeah.
Into second gear, and it was neutral. There was no gear. Yeah. And 32 motor cars passed me while I'm trying to get a gear. And eventually I got the gear, and it set off again. And I actually passed them all and won the race. And about 3/4 of the way through the race, it was so hit and miss was the gearbox on your car that I just selected fourth gear and left it in fourth gear, and I actually won the race in it. Yeah. And you said to me, like you did at the end of all the races, you didn't have to drive it hard, did you? You remember saying that to me?
I don't remember saying that, no.
No, every race, actually. But you remember? We wouldn't remember what I said back to you then.
No.
Can you imagine?
I can imagine.
What did I say?
Oh, I'm very, very gentle with it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Like the time when your rear left brake was on fire at Snetterton.
That was later in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah. I drove that car on no brake pedal.
Yeah. But you're jumping ahead there a bit, because Donington race you won.
Yeah.
And then the next race was Brands.
Oh, yeah.
Practice at Brands.
Blew a turbo.
You did. And I've got a photograph of that somewhere, of you coming to Clearways.
Yeah.
Clouds of white smoke, which looks very dramatic.
Well, I mean, do you remember Murray Walker, you know, when in the turbo car era, the turbo F1 car era, and it's the turbo. Whether it was turbo or not, that's what he said, but there was a lot of smoke, wasn't there, in those days when a turbo went bang, and that's what was happening, wasn't it? And I remember coming into Paddock Bend, and I'd just gone down the gears, and bang, you know, it was, the reason for this was the factory never thought they were going to go racing. They were just going to be road cars, so you weren't going to be on the turbo very long. But in a race situation, you're on, then you're off, and you're on, and that sheared the shaft on the turbos, and that's why he had a blow up. Yeah. And they never thought that was going to happen, and I think it cost us about 6 turbos before we decided enough's enough, and we're going to stop the project. Yeah. And because we were pioneering F40 racing in this country in standard form, it was bad for us as a company, you, the owner, and certainly the factory. And I got a call from Ferrari, didn't I? And this voice said, "You're having turbocharger problems," and said, "You're bloody right, I am. We're going to stop this project, silly bloody car. It's bad." And he said, "If we send you 2 turbochargers, would you continue racing the F40?" So 2 turbochargers were couriered into Heathrow and then on a motorbike up to Meltham. And we fitted the turbochargers and went to Silverstone. And what you don't know is that I tested the car before we put it in the wagon in full livery, racing car numbers on wet racing tyres, and took it down to the petrol station to put the amount of fuel in for the race weekend. And chatted up this girl called Beth.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and she became a girlfriend for a bit. I don't know why, what she saw me. Why did she find me attractive? I don't know, no idea.
Well, I have no idea.
But anyway, that lasted for quite a while.
Well, funnily enough, I was, when the first turbo blow up happened at Clearways at Brands, I was stood next to
Beth?
to the technical director of Ferrari UK.
I know you were, yeah.
And Peter, bless him, this was horrifying. And so, yes, it was.
Well, that was early in the season.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we were all supposed to drop 2 rounds, if you remember, and that's why we scored so high, because we just dropped the bad rounds, didn't we, with turbocharger. But yeah, we fitted it. We fitted the turbos for Silverstone, and didn't break a turbo again, and went off to win that championship. But there was all sorts of wonderful things happened. Some things you needed to know at the time, and some you didn't.
Yeah, I understand.
We remember doing the BBC Top Gear race at Stowe Circuit, Silverstone.
I do, yeah.
And in practice, in qualifying, I think the big bolt came out of the crankshaft damper, didn't it? And threw the water pump belt off, and
not too good. But you fixed it.
But what was nice about running the F40? Well, any race car really, you get to know the road car really well. You get to know all its little things, and then you build it into your servicing. The gearbox problem at Donington was just the 3 fingers and the selector fork that went out of a line. So on a major service on F40, that gets checked now. We service and maintain some pretty reliable cars.
Yeah, I mean, you've looked after this ever since it was new.
I have.
You've been responsible for it.
Yeah.
Or irresponsible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't say the word. I don't like the word responsible.
Can I go back to the turbos?
Yeah.
And when you guys were racing this car and the turbo issues you had, did you you had to modify your turbo, or you did work with the turbo specifically to help it survive?
That's a very good point, and I'm glad you've asked it, because the factory had already done this. They just wanted us to run 2 turbos. However, and this story just makes me a bigger hero than I already am, to be honest with you. But we fitted the modified turbochargers, but we put a restrictor in the wastegate pipe, the blow-off valve, to reduce the boost pressure of the car to play safe. So we actually ran that car with less power than standard. But I still won the championship. We didn't need to have done that, by the way, but it was a belt and braces thing to make sure that we weren't going to lose another turbocharger. When we learned later on, you didn't need to do that, but we ran less power.
Well, Chris was probably happy with a little bit less power and no more blow-up turbos to pay for.
No, but
still successful and still fast.
I never go racing to come second. Ed Senna, God bless him, was my mentor from a distance. I listened to every word that man said, and I watched him in such detail. And I, as far as I'm concerned, I learned that much from him that he could have been my personal mentor. That's how I felt about it. And we don't go racing to come second, do we? So I wasn't going to be second with his motor car. And I do remember being put it on pole position at another Donington that year. And I was summoned to the clerk of the course after qualifying. I put it on pole.
Yeah.
And I was summoned to, it was the Boss Formula Day, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that means old Formula One cars on open pipes.
Boss, big open wheel single seater.
That's correct.
Ex-Formula One cars.
Yeah.
That's correct. And they're very noisy. And it's Donington next to East Midlands Airport. But we had a very low decibel limit on our series, you see, and we were a bit louder than that. So I was summoned to the clerk of the course, and I'm sure that man was dead and running on remote control. I mean, he was 140 years old. But the bastard, he gave me an endorsement and a fine, and he signed my license and put me in the back of the grid with a 10-second penalty. I mean, I didn't kill anybody. I was just a bit noisy in an F40. So I thought that was a bit unfair. And that's 10 seconds plus back of the grid. I won that race as well.
Yeah.
But there was a guest car in there. There was a GT2, a 512 TR, the Parabolica car.
Oh, yes.
You may remember.
Yeah.
With, who was driving that? Chris Goodwin, I think.
Could have been.
Could have been Chris Goodwin, couldn't it?
Yeah.
A professional driver, and I got through the pack. I got through again 30 odd motor cars, and the length of the start finish straight is where the race stopped. So I won the race. I got maximum points because the guest driver was not there to earn points. It was just a demonstration. But the fact was he went past the flag before me. And I got the car into park for me. The boys took over, and I disappeared for what, an hour, 2 hours. I didn't come back to the camp, to our paddock, and I was distraught. I just had this mental fix in my brain about I'm here to win, and that means go past the flag first. And that didn't happen, and I was distraught.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And eventually I calmed down and came back to the guys, couldn't understand. You won, John, no, I didn't. And,
Yeah.
and that's very much how the motor racing was that year.
Yeah, but we had, we were very competitive.
We were very competitive.
The team was
Yeah.
very competitive.
Yeah.
So racing was serious,
Yes.
but we had fun.
Yeah. And I kept it the shiny side up mainly.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't. So when you asked me, did you, how hard did you drive it? And of course, it was not hard. You've got no idea.
Did this one ever get in any incidents?
Well, no, there was no physical fisticuffs at all with this motor
So it
car.
was just Chris's car you looked after, and not the other ones that had a few pranks. You treated Chris well.
That year we ran 3 cars, and there's a great story at Zandvoort, isn't there?
Yeah. Yes.
So we ran me in that, and we ran someone in a 348 Competizione.
Yeah.
And we ran someone in my old standard 328.
Yes.
Went to Zandvoort for the first time, and talking about being competitive in quality. Zandvoort's by the seaside, isn't it? And and so overcast, and there was a big control tower by the pit lane with the 3 letters of everyone's surname where you are in qualifying, and I'm second.
Yes.
And it started to rain, so I came in, and I'm looking at this bloody tower with Pog on it, and it's second. So we don't. That's no good. We didn't come here to be second, did we? So I just looked at the windscreen. It looked like it stopped raining, and Roger, my team manager, I asked him, "Does it stop raining?" And he went, "I think so." And we got just enough room for one flying lap. Before the end of the session, so I screamed past my other 2 cars in the pit lane, and put a lap in and put it on pole position. Yeah, you remember that?
I do.
And then I won both races over the weekend in the car. But that car at that meeting still today holds a lap record round the Zandvoort circuit, and that record stands today.
It does.
And that's because they changed the circuit.
Because the circuit has changed.
But that's not the point. The thing is, in the history books, this car, do you realise that this car's the most winningest car but one?
It's, yes, if you...
Is that a word?
It is,
Oh.
I think. As a winning ratio of races entered and wins, it's something like 80%.
Yeah.
So it's won 8% of races that it's entered.
Yeah.
Which is extraordinary.
I only did 2 races.
You did rather more than that.
Yeah, I know.
But in the F40 records, if you research it, yes, it's the most successful.
I remember talking about using this car as why we did this, why we did this, and why it was so important to be successful in it. Because if you go back in history, then take something like a 250 LM or something, an old 60s sports racer. They were gentleman racing cars, and quite often would drive to a circuit.
Absolutely.
Put the racing tyres on and race it, and then tyres off and back home again. That was the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I said, once I really got into these cars and I understood them, that it was obvious to me that this was the same principle. It was the same attitude. So you should be able to drive to a circuit and put your racing tyres on and race an F40 and then come home again.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of a terrific story about driving it to Castlecombe.
Go on.
Might not have told you this one. But anyway, it's too late now. You can't do anything. You can't take it off me now because it's done. But we were racing at Castlecombe, and we had too many cars for the transporter. So I had to drive this there and test it at the same time. So it was fully logoed,
right?
Wasn't it? It was on wet racing tyres that said not for highway use. And no, I don't think it had any front side lights and things. So I'm going down the M5, heading towards the M4 for Castlecombe. And there was a police car underneath the bridge. And I think it was on open pipes as well. And this thing, you've got to see the photograph to appreciate the livery of this car, because it was pretty well liveried, wasn't it? It was a very attractive looking car, wasn't it? Yeah. And wow, these coppers, and I looked in them and they pulled out after me. Oh shit! So when they caught me up and then they pulled me in, and I got out, and the 2 coppers got out. The police car walked around it, and I remember this bloke saying to me, he said, "I don't know what it is, but there's something not right about this." And so him and his mate spent ages looking around this car, and I wasn't going to help him. So, and he said, "There's something wrong." So, sit in the car, and he got all his books out and all his bloody law books and rule books and everything else, and he couldn't find. I was in the car an hour, and he says, "I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong." He says, "But I don't know what it is." So they let me go, and as it happened, we were getting rid of one of the race cars, so it was going to come back in the transporter. And we won, and we stopped at the Michael Wood services on the way back. Yeah. So sat in the restaurant was these 2 coppers.
Oh, really? The same coppers?
And so I went over and sat at the table, and they were really nice. He said, "Did you win?" I said, "Of course I win, yeah." So he said, "Well, we'll be in touch on next week. We'll be in touch with what we're going to do about you." So I said, "Well, okay." So I said, "Anyway, it's in a transporter now, so it's too late." So this copper rang me on Monday, and he said, "I've got the good news and bad news." So I said, "Right," and he said, "Well, the good news is we're not going to do yet." I said, "All right." I said, "What's the bad news?" He said, "Don't push your luck."
Because you must have been, because you changed the front lid and the rear lid to go racing. So we didn't damage the original.
That's right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And so you'd have gone down on that trip to Castlecombe, as you were saying, without
the racing bodywork on.
Racing bodywork, no lights.
Do you not realise how the world's changed? I mean,
I do. unfortunately.
Think about that today.
I don't think I dare.
There's a few things that we've done that, if you think about the difference.
Yeah.
Do you know? I'll tell you how I see it. I see it. Do you know who Buck Rogers was?
Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
I
Buzz.
No.
Buzz Rogers. Was it Buck Rogers? Or
I think
Buzz
it was
Rogers?
Buck Rogers. But go on.
He ended up in the 25th century, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he had this
something
bloody
like
thing that went tweet a lot. Is it Buck Rogers?
I think so.
Buzz Rogers.
No, Buck, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'm him. I fell asleep in my spaceship and I've landed in some bloody crappy planet, which he called 2025.
Yeah, but in 1996, don't forget, we were young.
Yeah. Well, you were.
And responsible.
You've never been young, have you?
Well, I'm older than you. Not by a lot, but a bit.
Well, I rest my case. But anyway.
You share somebody's birthday.
I do. I have a lot of common with this person, except I don't whinge a lot. But Nigel Mansell was born exactly on the same day, same month, the same year as me. Yeah. But I'm not a whinger.
No.
Anyway, you were saying?
No, I'm just saying. In 1996, we were young, having fun, daft, and we just
getting away with murder.
Just went for it.
I know.
And to hell with the consequences.
It's just a different world.
Absolutely.
I think. I mean, I don't know, perhaps not everyone knows who Buck Rogers is, or Buzz Rogers, what his name was. But I tell you what I do. This is how I do honestly see this, and I've time travelled through 7 different time zones in my life, and this year being my 50th Ferrari year as a mechanic, I've travelled 5 time zones as a Ferrari mechanic.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by that? Well, life was different in 75 and 85 and 95, and it's just a different thing. And what we were doing in 96, and here we are in 25, is another universe altogether.
But 1975, when you started, John, that's 5 decades ago. It's a hell of a long time ago.
Seems like yesterday, I've got to say.
Absolutely. I mean, when we were racing this in 96, it doesn't seem that long ago.
No.
It is, but it doesn't seem it.
I know.
It's still, the memories are still very vivid.
I think they're so important, the memories. I'm and with this 50-year thing that's cropped up, and you know how attached I am to it. I mean, this car it's all memories to me, and I think it's quite good for us to sit down and reminisce some of them, because they were really important. I think this was the glory days of the Maranello Challenge for starters. The British Ferrari Championship. I think that was the glory days.
I think it's the golden era. Absolutely.
I genuinely believe that. So it's good to look back and just reminisce a bit. But I also think that there's bits to come. We haven't done yet.
Right. Okay.
I think there's.
What's down the line, do you think?
Well, I think we should race it again.
That's a good idea.
It is a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah. What, with this car?
This car.
Oh, okay.
What?
Well, unfortunately...
we should be recording this.
I know we should. But unfortunately, and I don't know if you agree, but unfortunately, you, with the modern... I don't know what series
I know what you're going to say.
Race it in.
I know what you're going to say.
But it's not eligible for a lot of races. But the sort of races it would be eligible in, it's older technology. And some of these newer cars, they're so much faster.
Well,
but without the romance and the drama.
Well, I've got first-hand experience at this, because I bought a 430 Challenge GTC car, didn't I?
Yeah.
And so that's 2 pedals, flappy paddle, and a zillion settings in suspension and everything. Now, you actually wear one of these.
Yes.
Right. You have got to become a component of the car. You didn't on the 430, and you know what I've done with the 430? I've sold bloody thing.
Yeah.
Because I just find it offensive. It's just, Do you know there's been 3 crashes on these recently?
F40s.
Yeah.
Yes.
One was a bloody Ferrari mechanic testing the car, and I've seen the videos, and you know, all 3 of them is the same reason why they crashed, identical reason.
Yeah.
And it's because they sat on it, not in it. They're not a component of the car.
Yeah.
And you have to be. It's like jumping on a super bike on damp conditions and cold tires and just opening the throttle. You're going to crash. And I don't understand, you know, I suppose I do really, because the younger generation, who would have thought that a young kid could walk into a Ferrari showroom and buy 1,000 horsepower, or whatever they are,
Quite.
Ferrari with a Formula One engine in it.
Yeah.
You couldn't have said that in 88 or 98, could you?
No.
You wouldn't have been able to do that then.
No.
So there's all these gizmos on. Car weighs 3.5 ton because of the gizmos. And so put them into an F40, which is a go-kart, you're going to crash it because you just have to be a component of the car. And spooling the turbos up and not considering a manual cover, white line, a cat's eye, and not expecting the lighting the rear tyres up. If you do that, you're going to crash the car.
Yeah.
I used to do this for fun.
Yeah.
I used to do it to warm the tyres up on the warm-up lap, and when we were doing sponsor days and putting the sponsor's wife in the car, I used to do this for fun.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
Well, I think
why we've crashed so many.
With this, my experience is you have to have 100% concentration when you're driving it, because if you don't, it'll probably kill you. 100% concentration, and you have to treat it with respect, and you have to read the road and what the surface is like. So it's a completely different experience driving that than almost anything else, to be honest.
If you speak to Adrian Larkin, he'll tell you we made a film about what you've just said.
Right.
And we called that film Analog Animal.
Yeah.
And it was a good film now, if you remember.
I do.
And it was your car and the second F40 that I used to race.
Yeah.
Which belonged to Richard. And I think and we called it Animal Lang for a reason, didn't we? And I said, they can't make another one of these anymore.
No.
It's impossible. You'd never, ever build a car like that again. This is a thing from the past. But I also said this as well, because I remember it's all coming back to me now. It is wrong to say that these things don't have any sensors and safety devices on, because they do. And F40s, well, they have sensors in the driver's feet, and you have a sensor in the driver's arse, and in your fingertips, and they're all connected to the master computer.
Yeah.
You like that?
I do. But you know,
and that's what keeps you safe.
Yes, absolutely. But they cannot replicate, the modern Ferraris cannot replicate the experience of that.
No.
In any shape or form.
No, I know.
They are incredibly fast, the new ones. That's fast, but that is a total experience.
Well, we have a piece of equipment at Italian Sport, and it's called an adrenalometer.
Oh, right.
Adrenalometer.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
And that measures...
Well, it strangely, it measures adrenaline.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we go road testing, and I usually have to sign these things off at the end, so we take the mechanic with me, and we take this adrenalometer with us. So if I went out in a modern car, and you know, I'm not a tear arse, I'm a tester. You know, I have to test them for certain things, and so can be a bit exciting, you know.
Yeah.
So we get back in I don't know what, F12 or a 488 or something, and what you do is you stick your hand out like this, and it doesn't shake.
Yeah.
But if you do exactly the same thing in one of these, your hand will shake because it's full of adrenaline.
Yeah.
That's adrenalometer.
Because it means you've driven it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you another thing. If you promise not to tell anyone, because it's a bit embarrassing, this, but when I was racing your car, and this is something I've never told you, so keep it to yourself, okay? Because it's a bit embarrassing. But we used to have a talk, you and your car and me, before I went out in it. And I still do that today when I'm testing. And we have an agreement, and we agree that we're going to look after each other, because I'm going to respect your gearbox and your brakes and your engine, and if I like the rear tires up, I promise that I'll control it and not crash it.
Yeah.
So you've got to do the same thing for me. You've got to look after me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was something that I did without anyone knowing.
And it did look after you.
And it did look after me.
Because the end of the season, you'd won the championship with almost maximum points, I think, with numerous fastest laps, pole positions, all sorts of stuff.
It's got quite a list, hasn't it? But you remember it beating Supervan 3?
I was just going to say, having done that racing, won the championship, we all went down to Snetterton for a Heart Foundation charity event.
Yeah.
With a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And you and other people took passengers around the circuit. But Ford Supervan 2,
3.
I think. Or was it 3?
3.
Ford Supervan 3 was there, which was basically a Benetton F1
car
with a Ford Transit plastic body on top.
Yeah. And a Formula 1 engine. And it was the old thing was a rolling chassis of a Formula 1 car with a transit body.
Anyway, you carry on the story, because I think it's great.
Well, I was having I think it was raining as well at one point of the day.
I think it was.
And I remember this little old lady. So it was just us drivers had just to give something back to the job, and we could raise some money for the British Heart Foundation, which is a good thing. And so we go to Snetterton, and people will form a queue to be taken on an out lap, and then a flying lap, and then a slow down lap, and they pay the money. And at this particular time of the day, it was raining, and this little old lady with a rainmate on, it's in the car, and she's wet through, and the lads strap her in. And I said, hello, love. And she said, I've been waiting all day to get in this for you. And she absolutely loved it. But later on in the afternoon, it was fine. And I got this idea, and I thought, I wonder which is the quickest round here. Was it Michael Vergers?
Yes.
That was driving it. Yes. He's quite a famous chap, isn't he?
He was, yeah.
What's he famous
Still
for?
is. Well, I think it was not. He didn't get into F1, but it was
Le Mans, wasn't he?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes, possibly Le Mans and maybe Formula 2, something like that.
My point at this stage is, it was a race. It was a pedal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a pedal.
Which makes it look better for me. Okay, so he's piloting this thing, and I said, well, I wonder which is quick. So it was arranged with the clerk of the course that at some time in the afternoon there'd just be me and the Supervan 3 out together, and we'd have a race around Snetterton with passengers in.
Yeah.
So I remember this lad, and he was a big lad, and just put his leg into the F40, and the clerk of the course came over, and just as he sinks into the seat, and the guys are just about to strap him in, the clerk of the thought, right, this is the one, right, this is the lap.
Yeah.
And this lad looked at me and said, what does that mean? And I said, sit down, shut up, put your helmet on, you're going to have a thrill, because we're going to race that Benetton Formula 1 car disguised as a transit. So he got his passenger in, and off we went. And I've got to tell you, for those guys that didn't witness this, I mean, again, who were so laid back, didn't appreciate it at the time, but the noise that those two cars made together, I will never leave my head.
Yeah, fantastic.
And at Snetterton, there's a bridge and a bit of a banking, so you get noise that ricochets from it. And would it be an HB V8?
I think so.
I reckon it's a Cosworth V8, isn't it?
Something like that.
So, and the F40 on straight through pipes.
Yeah.
I, for those that understand twin-engined aeroplanes, prop aeroplane. Now, you know what I'm going to say,
I do,
don't you?
yeah.
So, if you're to get the two engines slightly out of sync,
Yeah.
and you have to forgive the noise because I've got so many noises in my head, And I mean, I lived, a week with the Mazda Wankel engines at Le Mans,
Okay.
It's good when you can say that on film. And if the two engines are slightly out of balance, you get a wah, 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 wah noise, don't you?
Yeah.
So this HB Formula One engine and the F40 engine together making these noises, it'll stay with me forever. It will.
Yeah.
And I was the fastest.
I was going to say the I can't remember the times now, but the Ford Supervan did whatever it did, and you were quicker.
I was.
And the guy, the passenger, the big bloke,
he didn't speak to me.
At the end of it,
didn't speak to me.
You. No.
Just got out, walked off.
Snetterton, we raced at Snetterton in the British GT Championship in this car. Do you remember that?
I do. BRDC GT.
Yeah.
And that was just to put some history on the car. Now it was not championship. It wasn't a championship thing. It was just to put some history on the car. We thought it was a bit cool.
Yeah.
But we were there anyway with the British Ferrari Championship.
Yeah.
And I just won that. And then 20 minutes later was the big race of the day, which was the BRDC GT.
But isn't that where the brake calipers?
Well, I was just going to tell you about that. I mean, I wasn't scared.
No.
It wasn't a dangerous situation.
You only had 3 brakes on your wagon.
So the plan was, if you remember, we were going to have 2 drivers, weren't we? And we were going to get David Leslie, weren't we?
Yes.
As a second driver. And I said caution to this, because I know how I was looking after it, and no disrespect to David, God bless him now, of course, but no disrespect, but a professional racing driver, he could break it, crash it, he'll just get his car and go home. And I felt uncomfortable about that. So it was possible for me to do the full race, but with a 1 minute break.
Yeah, in the pits.
And so we decided to do that, didn't we, if you remember? And so about a third of the way into the race, your car has 8 brake pads, 4 wheels, 2 brake pads, and your caliper. Now, in the left rear, the inner brake pad, the material sheared off the metal backplate. And to be honest with you, it's a beautiful car, and I love it to bits, and it's the best thing since sliced bread, but its clutch hydraulics and its brake hydraulics are just shite.
Yeah.
And it's the Achilles heel of the car if you put it on a track.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Because your bell housing is just drilled into the magnesium, and when it heats up, it aerates, and then you lose your clutch pedal more or less straight away. Yeah. So you need to expect to drive the car with no clutch. But then followed soon, you're going to lose your brake hydraulics as well.
Yeah.
So you need to prepare yourself. But this was a bigger problem because I'd got metal to metal in this rear corner.
Yeah.
So not only was it pulling the car, but it sort of set fire to your car in that corner a bit. But it kept going out. I could see it in the mirror, so it was okay. Yeah. And so about a third of the way into the first half of the race. So came in halfway as planned. And I came down the pit lane, and you guys were stood in the pit lane, and I just chugged and switched off, and team manager came to my door, and I said, I've lost my brake pedal, I've lost my clutch pedal, and I've ripped the muscle in my leg, in my shin here. I really ripped it, and it was just so painful.
Yeah.
But I'm a racing driver, so it's no problem. And of course, adrenaline was. So team manager said, he's just going for my belt, and he said, oh, we'll call it a day. And I said, no, we're not going to call it a day. We're going to finish the car for the history books of the car with no brakes and no clutch. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So minutes up, and then they push me off, and I'm off again, and I'm gone. And then it sets on fire again. And so anyway, as it happened, we finished second. 6, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Week 6, wasn't
I
it?
think so, yes. Yeah.
And it was because all the big boys got disqualified for noise.
Yeah.
And
But we were racing, there was a McLaren F1.
there was a Mercedes GT1. There was an AMG GT1.
Was
there
there? I
was
don't remember that one.
McLaren.
Right, there's a definite McLaren.
There were some right sexy
Yes,
cars,
some
wasn't
very,
there?
very sexy.
CLK GTR.
Yeah. Standard F40
Yeah,
with reduced boost pressure.
yeah.
So, we finished. They gave us 6th position, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah.
But I came down the pit lane at the end of the race, and it was. I remember it. I can remember it. It was busy. Pit lane was a lot going on, and F40 had done really well, and of course it looked fantastic and sounded great, and I chugged down to my guys and switched it off, and everybody went mad. It was like, great, And I said, I can't get out of the car. I can't get out of my leg. And so Roger, the team manager, shouts, "Medic!" And so the doctor came and the marshals came and they lifted me out of the car and put me on the floor.
Yeah.
And it just looked like the driver had an heart attack or something. I think, get off me. But I was limping for a few days,
Yeah. But I mean, I think that just shows that I'm being serious actually now. That just shows the commitment that you and the team.
We all had that commitment.
We had the commitment.
I know.
I mean, all this experience, racing and so on, it's transferred into how you look after the car, and you set it up how I like it set up. And you mentioned it a while ago. It's like a go-kart, because some F40s are not, they don't handle well. They're not set up properly. They're not very nice. This is just amazing. It's just amazing.
All Ferraris have a fantastic facility, typical Ferrari of those days, where you've got so much. When I talk about the 430 GTC as millions of electronic settings in suspension, everything, but this is shim washers,
Yeah.
And so we spent a lot of time, and I seem to have an ability to know what's right and wrong through my arse in the car, any car. And I just do in the fingertips. I mean, this is where the sensors are, and I know what's right and wrong. I do. Yeah. And so we found a setting in an F40. I think there was a lot of factory compromise in a standard car. It was going to be sent all around the world, and all sorts of drivers were going to drive it. So there was a compromise in it.
Yeah.
But there was a straight line stability issue to me. It wasn't very planted.
Yes.
And we knew that the car liked a little bit more camber on it, and so your car, even before it went racing, got those sort of settings, and they benefit really, really well for it. But that's the ability, we have that ability to do that with these cars.
I like it really planted.
Yeah.
Right? It feels planted. Do you remember the time when I drove it home and you put some new tires on it, some new Pirellis on it?
Yeah.
And I drove home and I rang you up and I said, "There's something not right in this car. It doesn't feel planted."
It's not satisfying for some people, is it?
No, I know. No, so he said, "Oh, bring it back and we'll have a look." So I brought it back.
Yeah.
And you took it out and you said, "I know what you mean."
I have to say, being serious as much as I can,
yeah,
that you have got such an ability to know what's right and wrong as well. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
It was the width of the stability band in the centre of a rear tyre, and most tyres have a solid band in the centre of the tyre, and it's called It's a stability band, and it's of a certain width. So we put 4 tyres on your car, and we were sent 2 rears from different batches. So there was not a choice. You couldn't have a wide stability or a narrow stability band. You just got what you got. But at the factory, there was a difference with that batch.
Yes, there was.
And it's a few millimeters, it's nothing. So I have to take my hat off, because you're right.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting, just goes to show how sensitive these
Oh
cars
yes,
are
oh yes,
to setup.
yeah.
And as I say, the way you've got it set up now, to what I want, I think it's fantastic.
I'm not actually a Ferrari anorak.
No, you've only been working with them for 50 years.
I'm actually a petrol head, right?
Yes.
I like, you know,
Yeah.
I can get a buzz out of looking at a single cylinder stationary engine as I can a V12 Merlin engine. But I have to say about Ferrari that the chassis and their engineering and their engine is bloody good. It's as good as anything else out there, if not better. And so, I mean, stuck with them for 50 years, you know, I love the machinery. I really do.
Yeah.
And I do my very best to try and break the Flash Harry image that unfortunately some Ferrari owners create.
Yeah. I mean,
These are a piece of engineering genius.
I mean, when you open all the lids, front lid up, back lid up, and you just left the side view with all the, you know, it's just fantastic. The engine, gearbox, transmission, and so on the back, and it's just amazing. It's a piece of art, really.
The front lid is on pit pins, very easy to pull the pins, disconnect the loom, it comes off.
Yeah.
The radiator's mounted on a subframe with other things.
Yeah.
So if that was a race car and you crashed it into a barrier in qualifying, you'd have a new cradle with a radiator on it and a new lid on in an hour.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be able to say that about a 488 or something, because it's all a bit gas going a jig in a body shop. But
your view is that this is a road-going racing car, basically.
I do believe that. And I know when you take the rear valance off and the lid off and your wheels off, and that's a Group C car, you know, you could see it.
Yeah.
And you know that engine was the old Lancia endurance engine, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think they used to qualify it like 700 and some horsepower, and it's basically that block, like you know, that engine.
Because when it was on the road, even before we were racing, we used to run it on straight pipes, didn't we?
IMSA, designed pipes, yeah.
And then it did its racing season, and then I think I ran it for a couple of years with straight through pipes, and then I thought, well, that's getting a bit antisocial. Perhaps we should tone it down a bit, which we did.
What I've never been able to understand,
only a bit.
Yeah, I know. What I've never been able to understand is it's a Ferrari V8, which got turbos on, but so has the GTO.
Yes.
So why does an F40 sound like an F40 on open pipes then?
I don't know, but it sounds very different to a GTO.
Exactly.
Very different.
Exactly. And I bet you if you put a pair of turbos on a 348 engine, it wouldn't sound like an F40. F40 on straight through pipes is just it's its own orchestra, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know I'm biased, but it's the best car they've ever made up to the present day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of thrills, driving experience, speed, power.
It's a car that when it's set up properly and tight, not sort of factory willy-nilly sort of thing, but when it's set up tight, I used to be quite successful in left foot braking, and you'd hear me go a lot of blah, 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 and my mate taught me that too, right? So you can turn the car, you can lift off, oversteer the car, which gives you some more tarmac and therefore your velocity through a corner can be faster than a guy in the same situation. So to be able to do that with a chassis, to make the car move under you with a throttle, it makes it one hell of a chassis. You know, not every car can do that.
But it's very controllable. But it's alive, though. It feels alive when you're driving it. It feels alive.
If you want to, you know, hit the throttle at the right time when the turbos are right and everything's right, then you get rear wheel steering in the car, and therefore it's quicker. And there's a lot of things in F40s that the pureness of it makes it like nothing I know. I've never driven.
Yeah.
Before we get to the end and sort of sign off the time we've got today, where do you two think this car ends up? What's the next chapter? What's the future for this car?
For this particular
car? This particular car, or any F40, but let's say this car. You know, theoretically, that car is going to outlive generations of people because it's so special, right? It's, you know, what becomes an F40? What becomes of your F40, Chris? You know, how does this continue?
Chris,
it's part of the family, really. I've had this car since, as I say, 1990. My younger son was born in 1990, and he's never known me without it. Both my boys love it to bits. It's part of the family. We don't drive it all that much. Sorry, I don't drive it all that much. And I say John drives it more than I do. But so you think to yourself, well, why have I got it? Well, I've got it because it means so much. I love having it. I love owning it. I love looking at this history of it. I've got files. I've got a painting of it done by a famous motorsport artist. It's an important part of my life. It's an important part of John's life. And so, yes, it will go on. You can never say never. I can't imagine I'll ever sell it. As you say, it'll outlive me, and it'll go to the next generation. But what it represents is something that probably won't be repeated. And that's why I've got it.
It's timeless. I think you coined it, saying anyone who's the owner of such a vehicle is simply the custodian for that time period.
That's right.
And then your boys will be the custodians, and you know, so it goes further. You coined it, John. I think in the film we've done before, you know, we're just the custodians. These things live forever.
It's just our job to make sure that we look after them. But I've got an answer as well, you know, and I'm just thinking whilst listening to Chris. And I come at this from a different angle altogether. I'll never be able to own an F40. And, you know, I wouldn't want to own an F40 because that's the only F40 that I'd ever want to be connected with in the way that I am. It's helped, not being the B's and E's, but it's helped cement a relationship over a long period of time with this car. And it isn't because we're not friends because Chris has an F40, but it's enabled us together to share it really, and to talk about these amazing things that have happened to us both over a long period of time. So for me, I can get emotional about this car. I really could. I don't know whether I'm a particularly emotional sort of person, maybe I'm not, but I could tell you things about this and what it means to me and get emotional about it. So it isn't an F40. It's more than that.
I mean, it's also helped people, strangely enough.
Oh, crikey. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of making Ferrari, the word, you know, make it work for people less fortunate than ourselves, because there's a bit of snobbery in this area of motor cars, and especially with Ferrari. But I like to think that it would be beneficial to someone if we can do this. And I've had quite a few situations that Chris has just been so generous. And I mean, when a father comes to me and says that my son, 17-year-old son's dying of cancer, you know, and he's got a bucket list, and you know, would you you know, would you take him out in an F40? You're like in an F40 race, and it would mean a lot to him if you did that, you know. And of course, Chris is at the front of the queue, isn't he? And I did, and this kid was ready for dying. You know, he'd given up. His parents talked to me about this after his death, and I extended his life. Chris and I did that. And they'll never forget that we, you know, this bloody motor car, you know, a red motor car, extended that lad's life. And we talked about me teaching him how to be a racing driver. He was looking forward to things, but that's I mean, that one always springs to mind. But there's all sorts of stories similar to that. So he's always at the front of the queue for doing that sort of thing. And so over the years, so it's not, you need to understand this is not a red Ferrari. Yeah. It's more.
It's not
than
just
that.
a car, is it?
No.
It's
No.
more.
It's not just a car.
It's more than that.
So what happens after me? I don't know. I'll be dead. I won't bother, will I? But that this story needs to continue. With the car for wherever it's going to end up in the future. I think we're okay on fuels. I think the sustainable fuels is the answer.
Yeah.
So it's not as though we're going to have to later or put a battery in it and electric motor, but.
No.
So I think there is a future for the car, but it's the custodian, isn't it? That's where the future is.
It's from an era, obviously, that's long gone, the 90s. It's the last car that Enzo Ferrari had anything to do with.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It's very important. It's an important icon.
This conversation should have started with this because it's a bigger topic to do with this motor car than, well, it isn't, is it? The memories the things that we've done with it is fantastic, but it's a long story, and I think Adrian's question. I think the end of the answer it won't come for a long time. This car's still got a job to do.
As you said, it's a long story.
Doing that sort of thing.
It's a long story.
It is a long story.
But it ain't finished.
Not finished yet.
Well, that's it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Well, look, thanks for coming in, Chris, and
Pleasure.
sharing.
Pleasure.
And, it's been brilliant. Really good hearing the pair of you talk about it. It's fantastic. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for your time and your time. That's
pleasure.
Awesome.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, well done. Brilliant, Chris.
Okay.
Lovely. We'll have to do it again. All right, gents.
Right.
Lovely.
Good show. I'll have my lunch
There's
now.
more to be had. We'll
have some lunch now.
There'll be more.
All right then, Andy.
Really good.
You're not bored silly.